Hi, I'm Malcolm.
And I'm Rachel. We're two Canadians living on our 39-foot mainship trawler, living an adventure of a lifetime. We invite you to follow along as we travel 6,000 miles through Canadian and U.S. waterways around America's Great Loop. Hi there. We've arrived back at our boat after a bit of time away back home up in Canada, and it's really nice to be back here at Green Turtle Bay. We're just getting it all opened up again, the deck's all cleaned and reprovisioned, and then we're going to go and do some anchorages. We're also hoping to do a side trip to Chattanooga, and looking forward to seeing this part of the United States. What are you doing?
What I'm doing is I'm preventative maintenancing, if that's a verb. So what I'm doing is I'm basically trading in the boardroom now that I'm retired for the mechanics room and the generator that we have. Although we don't use it very often, when we need it, we need it. And what I don't want to have happen is for the impeller, which cools the generator, takes all the water from outside, runs it through the generator and cools it, to fail. Because if that fails, and it's in here, you can't see it, it looks very much like this. And it goes right inside that little casing. This is called your raw water pump. And if it fails, all those little blades get pushed into your cooling system. You got to go find them. And then the generator stops. So this now has a new one in it. We're going to install it back in the Jenny. We're going to tighten the belts, clean it up, because it hasn't really been maintained all that well. That's my fault. And now we'll hopefully see that we have a brand new one in here. It'll stay nice and cool, and we won't have to change it probably until after the loop.
Very good.
Yeah, so there we go. That's
it's kind of hard to get in that little tiny space there.
It's you've got to be a gnome or I don't know, someone with long dangly arms, and I'm neither. So you got to get in there on your knees and feel around and eventually get the bolts in the right place.
And this was a good thing to do on a rainy day, although now the sun has come out.
It's a great thing to do on a rainy day. It's just one of those things where you could go without it working, but it's always good if you're out there and let's say, you get a very, very dark day with the solar not working, then you got the option. But without this maintenance done, I'm always concerned that my generator is going to fail because I haven't done this maintenance. So now I don't have to worry about it.
Good job.
Thanks. You too.
We are back at Green Turtle Bay and we are preparing to leave. And you can see we have some warm coats on. It's a little different temperature now than it was when we left.
Time to go south.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was quite warm when we got here. Well, 26, 25.
Celsius.
Yeah. Now it's closer to 50 Fahrenheit, or I don't know, 9 or 10. So when you're working around water and getting everything sorted out, it can get a little chilly, especially with the wind. So it's time to go south, time to start up. And it's got to find our sea legs again. After you've been away for a little while, it's how does everything work? So I think we're good to go.
Yeah, we've reprovisioned and everything's all stocked up. So we're just about to untie the lines and head out.
Yeah, so wish us luck. Off we go.
We are heading out of Green Turtle Bay. And there is the opening of the marina, heading back out to Barkley Lake. And we're going to go through the cut and into Kentucky Lake. There's the Barkley Dam. And those dolphins we saw, the beach off in the distance. Kind of cloudy, so it's not very well lit up. There's Green Turtle Bay Marina, and then this nice residential area that we used to walk through every morning from our side of the marina. It's kind of pretty now with all the colors of the leaves. The Kentucky Dam backs up the Tennessee River for 184 miles and creates Kentucky Lake that stretches south across the western tip of Kentucky and nearly the entire height of Tennessee. The lake covers 160,000 acres and features 2,300 miles of shoreline. The Kentucky Dam is used to help control floods on the lower Ohio and Mississippi rivers and is the gateway to the Tennessee River waterway. It is also a major power generating plant. It took 6 years to build and at the peak had 5,000 men at work building the dam and preparing the reservoir area. The lock handles more than 2,000 loaded barges a month with lifts of about 55 feet. Tows may carry steel, grain, petroleum, chemicals, and ores. The 5 turbine generators at the Kentucky Dam harness the river's flow to generate up to 1.3 billion kilowatt hours of electricity each year. Kentucky Lake is a magnet for vacationers and fishermen. Along the shoreline are many boat docks, resorts, and several state, county, and municipal parks, campsites, commercial recreation areas, and wildlife areas. How's it feel to be back captaining the boat?
It feels good to be on the move. Your feet get stuck to the ground for a little bit if you stay too long. So we got going, tested all the systems out before we left, forward, reverse, bow, stern, thruster, all the rest. Let it warm up and cast off. And now when we first cast off, it was a little cold, it was a little overcast, but since we've come out, we've already passed one tow, we've got the sun out, the waves are all going with us, and so's the wind. So it's, I think, a good omen for the rest of the day.
Yeah. And we're headed south now, down Kentucky Lake, so we're actually got the sun right on the front of the boat. We've opened up some of the windows a little bit more and taken off our puffy coats, which were nice to have when it was cold, but it's actually warming up quite fast.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah.
Because we're with the wind, you don't have any wind coming in, so we can open everything up, and yet you still get the benefit of the sun, which is it's a good thing today.
Very pleasant so far.
Very pleasant.
Making cookies again. Remember last time I showed you I made one big cookie, it kind of turned into a big mess. This time I think it's going to work a little better. And let's see, chocolate chip raisin cookies. Here's the before. I'm using solar power today to bake the cookies. You can see on the Bluetti screen at the top left there is 406 watts of input from the solar panels, and at the bottom right the oven is using 36 watts of power, and then it goes up to 864 watts when the oven powers on. That's better. These turned out much better than last time. Let's go see if Malcolm wants one.
Whoa.
Would you like to try one?
I would love to try.
They're still kind of warm. They might be melty, but that might be good.
Nothing better than cookies underway. Oh, I didn't realize this was a live action taste.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Something for the captain.
Very nice, thank you.
We're going with the wind today, against the current, I believe, but with the wind. So our flag at the front is hardly flapping at all. And the sun is keeping us nice and warm. It's a very pleasant journey today. You can kind of see off in the distance, maybe not very well right now, there's a bridge up ahead and there's a tow coming through. Malcolm's already called him and he wants us to pass on the 2, which is starboard to starboard. But we're really enjoying this passage, seeing all the beautiful colors at the side of the lake. This is Kentucky Lake. And it should just get warmer the farther we go south. All along this lake, it's a pretty straight up and down lake. There are little bays, kind of inlets all along on each side, and these are perfect places as long as the depth is good for your boat. Perfect places to go in and just stop for the night and anchor. You can kind of see one behind me there, and I'll see if I can show you on a map as well. But it's kind of neat to see them all along here, and we will be anchoring in one. I'm not quite sure where we're anchoring tonight. I can't remember. We planned up ahead a few days, but we'll show you where we anchor tonight.
So the report from the bridge today. We are back cruising again, which is very comfortable. We've got a day that is spectacular. We've got all the
trees with changing color on one side, sun, very little wind. It's been smooth sailing. Today we are running at around 7.4, 7.5 knots and just below 1900 RPM. We're heading due south. So for the majority of the day, we're just going to be going straight down Kentucky Lake. And we're going to be ending up in an anchorage. At the moment, I don't remember what it's called, but it's one on active captain, and we'll spend the night there. And that's one of, I think, 3 or 4 anchorages we're going to have in a row as we go down this water system. So looking for a really pleasant trip for the next 2 hours, and a nice quiet night, and hopefully more of the same as we continue for the next couple of days. And that is a report from the bridge.
So we just looked up on the map the name of our anchorage. It's in a bay called
Panther Bay.
Panther Bay. So we may have a couple of other boaters in there. It'd be kind of nice to meet some other loopers. Now that we have gone away and come back, there's a whole new group of loopers that we can meet that we haven't been traveling with yet.
Yeah, and the bay is actually surrounded by the land between the lakes, which I think is a state park.
Yeah.
So that should be interesting because obviously there'll be no houses, no buildings. It should be nice and quiet. So other than a couple of other loopers that we hope to meet.
Yeah. Hope you're having a great day. The scenery here is just gorgeous. We're really enjoying seeing the tree colors, and now we're seeing some cliffs, some little inlets where you can anchor, places like that, and really very enjoyable journey. We're approaching Panther Bay, which is our anchorage for tonight. And off in the distance, sort of over there, is a bridge. And that's where Paris Landing State Park is. I believe there's a marina there, and that's where they had the rendezvous, the fall rendezvous this year. So we're very close to there. And Panther Bay looks like a really nice spot. I'm sure we can get some nice pictures of the trees as well. So we'll go and anchor in there and see how that is for tonight. We've arrived at our destination for today, which is Panther Bay, I think it's called. Not very far from Paris Landing along the Kentucky Lake. And it's a beautiful afternoon. The sun is out and it is helping to keep us warm. There's only 2 other boats in this bay, and one is another Canadian boat. So we'll probably go over and say hello to both of them and enjoy the evening here.